Okay, now we're going to simplify square roots. And remember, the square roots, you're trying to find the perfect square. And I'm just going to write down the first 12 perfect squares. 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144. So these are my first perfect 12 squares, okay? You're trying to find the one that goes into here. I'm going to do it two ways. Okay, so the more power way, 288, I know is 144 times 2. This is the more power way. So I'm going to change this to 144 times 2. Now then, I know the square root of 144 is 12. So this is going to turn into 12 square root of 2. Okay, so one way to do it is to find the perfect square that goes in here and simplify it that way. The other way is to prime factor this. Okay, so if you type in menu, let me make sure I write this down. Menu number, which is 2, and factor 3. So menu 2 and then factor. Menu number factor, and then type in the number. So I'm going to type in 288. Menu 2, 3, 288. I get 2 to the 5th times 3 squared. I'm going to write all those out. So 2 to the 5th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then 3 squared. Okay, so 288 is 2 to the 5th times 3 squared. And I'm not going to write any decimals out. Now then, I'm going to go here and circle every set of 2. Okay, so I could pull out a 2, and a 3. And this 2 stays inside. So 2 times 2 times 3 is my 12. And this 2 is not circled, it stays inside. Okay, let's go to the next one, 32. The more power way is to use the 16. So I'm going to do this up here. It's going to be 3 and then 16 times 2. The square root of 16 is 4, so I'm going to pull the 4 out, but I got to multiply the 4 times this 3, don't I? So this turns into 12 square root of 2. The other way to do it is to prime factor it. 32 is equal to 2 to the 5th. So I'm going to write down 3 square root, and I'm going to write down 5 2's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Circle every 2. So you're pulling out sets of 2. I could pull this 2 out and that 2 out, can I? 2 times 2 is 4, and I got to multiply it by the 3. That gives me my 12. This 2 is uncircled. It stays inside. This is the answer. Okay, let's do this one. Let's go up here. So negative 2. 48 is going to be 16 times 3. So I'm going to write this as 16 times 3. And then the even exponent under 7 is 6. So this is going to be x to the 6 times x. Remember, this right here is a 2, the square root, right? So you're dividing the exponent by 2. I could pull out a 4, and x to the 6 divided by 2 is x cubed. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. I'm going to get x to the 3rd power, then square root. This 3 and that x stay inside. Okay, the other way to do it is to prime factor. So negative 2 square root. 48 is 2 to the 4th times 3. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And then technically you would have 7 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now then circle every set of 2. I could circle this one. I could circle that, and that. So I could pull out a 2. I could pull out a 2. I could pull out an x, and an x, can I? So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is my negative 8. I could pull out 3 x's. That's x to the 3rd, square root. This and this are not circled, so they stay inside. Notice that my answers are the same. Okay, let's go to this one. The square root of 108 is 36 times 3, so negative square root 36 times 3, and then a to the 4th b. Okay, remember this is a 2, so we're going to divide our exponents by 2 when we pull out. So the square root is 36 is 6, so I'm going to get negative 6 square root a squared. The a squared comes out 2. Darn it, let me do this. Negative 6a squared square root, and then the 3 and the b stay inside. So negative 6a squared square root of 3b. Okay, to square root it, negative square root, the square root of 108 is, let's see, it's got to be 2 to the 3rd times 3 squared, 2 to the 4th times 3 squared. Yeah, 2 to the 4th, or I'm sorry, 2 squared times 3 cubed. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's what the prime factors of 108 is. Then I'm going to write down 4 a's, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a b. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, circle every set of 2. I'm going to pull out a 2, a 3, an A, and an A, aren't I? So that's going to turn into 2 times 3 is 6, but it's going to be a negative. Negative 6a squared square root, and then the 3 and the b stay inside. So notice that I'm getting the same answer, right? Okay, now then I'm going to do this one down here. Do I have, yeah. So I'm going to write down negative 6 square root 63j 5k to the 6. Okay, so up here I'm going to do it this way. So negative 6 square root 63 is 9 times 7, then j to the 5, k to the 6. I could pull out this. This is going to be 3. This is going to be j squared with 1 left in, and then k to the cubed, right? So 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. And then I could take 2 sets of j's out, and then 3 k's, and then square root, and then the 7 and the j stay inside. It's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. Now then let's go down to here and let's prime factor everything. 3 squared is 3 times 7, or 63 is 9 times 7. Then I'm going to write down 5 j's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 k's, 4, 5, 6. Circle every set of 2. I could circle a 3, a set of j's, a set of j's, 1, 2, 3 sets of k's, right? So I could pull out a 3, a j, and then 3 k's, right? So 3 times negative 6 is negative 18, so negative 18. I pulled out 2 j's, j squared, and then 3 k's, k cubed, square root. This 7 and that j are left inside, so 7j. Notice that I'm getting the same answers, just different ways.